UFC star Muhammad Mokaev involved in hotel brawl with rival ahead of their fight at UFC 304 in Manchester, before flyweight fighters trade verbal insults online. Before you proceed, don't forget to like, hit the subscribe button and share for more updates on savage fights. The flyweight fighters are set to go head-to-head inside the octagon at the Co-op Live Arena in Manchester at UFC 304 this weekend. However, with tensions high, things boiled over when they crossed paths on Wednesday night, and it resulted in a mass brawl between both camps. UFC rivals Muhammad Mokaev and Manel Kape were involved in a wild hotel brawl ahead of their fight on Saturday night. Footage that appeared on X showed Mokaev and Kape's teams involved in a heated exchange at the UFC hotel before they later traded words online. Kape started by posting a photo of Mokaev with a cut above his eyebrow and a caption that read, "My beach forever." British star Mokaev responded with a screenshot of the altercation, highlighting Kape's face, with his caption reading, "Help." This is the second time that the fighters have clashed outside the cage, having previously gotten into an altercation at the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas, Nevada. According to Gene Silva, one of Kape's teammate, the 30-year-old hit the Mokaev outside the gym. Manel Kape hit Mokaev here outside the gym a while ago, Silva revealed. He elbowed Mokaev in the head on the street bro. He caught Mokaev at the entrance here to the UFC PI. He headbutted him and elbowed him in the street. He opened Mokaev's head a week before his fight. He's, Kape, a psychopath. Mokaev's rise in the UFC has seen him become one of the best British fighters in the roster, and he'll look to extend his unbeaten record on Saturday night. The 23-year-old recently extended his professional record to a perfect 12-0, with a dominant win against Alex Perez at UFC Fight Night in March. Speaking to Mail Sport back in April, Mokaev reflected on that win and said, "Well, I'm happy with the win, but not really happy with the performance," he admitted. "I know I could have done better, but it is what it is. We just keep moving. Undefeated. Maybe I underestimated Alex, I would say. Because the first round was quite easy, nearly like end of the round, I nearly could have got the finish." Elsewhere on the UFC 304 card, Tom Aspinall takes on American counterpart Curtis Blades in a fight for the UFC interim heavyweight title. Leon Edwards will headline the event as he faces Belal Muhammad in a defense of his UFC welterweight title. McGregor's all talk. There's only way one to shut him up, UFC champion hits out the notorious. It's no great secret that Conor McGregor has made a lengthy list of enemies while climbing the ranks of the UFC, and one by one they continue to publicly celebrate his loss to Nate Diaz. If you were to closely examine everything the notorious has said over the last 3 years, it would quickly become apparent that he doesn't discriminate when it comes to slinging insults at fellow fighters. Regardless of weight class or indeed the possibility of ever facing them, the featherweight champion has never hesitated to tell his contemporaries just how much they pale in comparison to him. In the early stages of his time with the promotion, the Dubliner tended to limit his gamesmanship for featherweight rivals such as Dustin Poirier, Chad Mendes, Frankie Edgar, and Jose Aldo. After winning the interim featherweight title, McGregor's ambitions quickly grew, and so did the scope of those he considered fair game. At September's Go Big press conference, it was lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos and then challenger Donald Cerrone who were told he could change their bum lives and ensure a red panty night in their respective households. After being matched with dos Anjos, McGregor pushed the Brazilian's buttons as he had done with Jose Aldo, questioning his patriotism and making light of his religious beliefs. In January, when accepting his Fighter of the Year award, the 27-year-old turned on dos Anjos' teammate, heavyweight champion Fabricio Verdum, who had belatedly withdrawn from a scheduled title bout. At the MMA awards, instead of talking about the award he won, he started talking about me, how I wasn't a real champion, and then about John Jones, Verdum told Portal do Vale Tudo. He said he would fight in all weight classes against anybody. There needs to be respect. Dos Anjos, of course, also pulled out of the fight that could have seen McGregor become the first man to ever concurrently hold 2 titles, and Nate Diaz took his place. McGregor and Diaz both gave a solid account of themselves in trading expletive-laden rants in the brief build-up, but, just before their bout at UFC 196 last weekend, the SBG man claimed that he accounted for numbers 1-8 on the top 10 pound-for-pound list of fighters, dismissing stalwarts of the caliber of Jones and Demetrius Johnson. While Jones and Johnson moderately gloated in the aftermath of McGregor's chastening submission loss to Diaz, which was contested at 170 pounds, Aldo and dos Anjos quickly took to social media to openly mock the former plumber. Verdum insisted that McGregor bite off more than he could chew in meeting Diaz, a full 2 weight classes up from featherweight, and, while his bombast was initially amusing, that time has long since passed. He started his career well, promoting himself, making money and selling fights. Then he went in over his head. He could have stayed in his weight class, real quiet, but he decided to show his weakness to the world. It's very rare for me to wish for someone to lose, but it's what I felt and I wanted to share with my fans. Verdum went on to echo the increasingly loud refrain that McGregor's grappling is a glaring shortcoming in his game and furthermore, that he is not well regarded by MMA's old Gurid. He has no ground game. He's all talk. He was already exposed against Chad Mendes. There's only one way to shut him up, by beating him, and even then he will run his mouth. He got here yesterday and is already disrespecting the old school guys. So of course fighters don't like him. I'm sure I speak for many fighters, because he disrespects our community. The UFC flyweight contender bout between Mokaev and Kape is the standout fight on the early prelims. Number 6 ranked Mokaev meets Kape, who's ranked 8th in the division, in what could determine the next challenger for UFC flyweight champion Alexander Pantoja. Extra spice has been added to their contest as they clashed at the fighters' hotel in an explosive moment. A viral video shows Mokaev's team and Kape's entourage going at it in extraordinary footage. People were restrained as security intervened. After the melee, the 23-year-old took to social media to post an image of Kape, who appeared to suffer a cut on his face. Extra spice has been added to their contest as they clashed at the fighters' hotel in an explosive moment. A viral video shows Mokaev's team and Kape's entourage going at it in extraordinary footage. People were restrained as security intervened. After the melee, the 23-year-old took to social media to post an image of Kape, who appeared to suffer a cut on his face. It's not their first run-in as Mokaev and Kape also came to blows at the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas, Nevada. According to Kape's teammate Gene Silva, the 30-year-old hit the young Brit outside the gym. Manel Kape hit Mokaev here outside the gym a while ago, Silva revealed. He elbowed Mokaev in the head on the street bro. He caught Mokaev at the entrance here to the UFC PI. He headbutted him and elbowed him in the street. He opened Mokaev's head a week before his fight. He's Kape a psychopath. Mokaev heads into his UFC 304 assignment with 6 UFC victories under his belt. He's gunning for a shot at UFC Gold. Kape, on the other hand, is 4-2 in the UFC, having beaten Ode Osborne, Zhalgas Zhumagulov, David Dvorak and Felipe dos Santos.